What if the sins you can't forgive yourself for became a cage around your heart, stealing your voice, your fight, your very name? In the endless desert wind of no man's land, where hope feels like a distant star, that question cuts deeper than any bullet. Episode 2 of Trigun Stargaze, titled Unforgiven, and released on January 17, 2026, on Crunchyroll, drops us into that silence. It feels like standing alone in a ruined cathedral, echoes of past explosions still ringing, dust tasting like regret on your tongue. This isn't just another chapter, it's a wound reopened, pulling you in with the promise that answers lie just beyond the next sand dune. You don't watch this episode, you survive it, and then you need to know what happens next. 2.5 years after the destruction of July in Trigun Stampede, Vash the Stampede lives hidden as Eric's, a broken, mute shell of the man he once was. Cared for by the gruff, wheel-bound hermit Hoppard, he hides from the world that blames him for the catastrophe. When young Jessica crash lands nearby, desperate to find Vash and save her endangered home, old grudges ignite. Hoppard, scarred by loss from the July event, forces a confrontation that tests Vash's unbreakable vow against killing. Meanwhile, Meryl and Millie continue their search, crossing paths with Nicholas D. Wolfwood in a chance encounter that hints at reunions to come. Streaming exclusively on Crunchyroll, this episode bridges the chaos of the past with the looming threat of a human colony fleet approaching no man's land, ready to rescue the planet's people. This episode slows the pace deliberately, like a held breath before a storm. It shifts from the wide world setup of Episode 1, plant thefts, incoming ships, Meryl's investigations, to an intimate, personal hell. The key revelation is Vash's shattered state. Mute, skinny, haunted by guilt. No big twists explode here, but the quiet buildup creates a cliffhanger of emotional weight. What will it take to pull him back? The tragic confrontation feels inevitable yet heartbreaking, clarifying fan questions from Stampede's ending. Vash's death was symbolic, not literal. He survived, but at the cost of his spirit. Compared to real-life stories of survivors carrying invisible scars, like war veterans who withdraw into silence, this episode grounds the sci-fi in raw humanity. Pacing is meditative, almost too slow for some, but it builds suspense. Will Vash break his vow? Will forgiveness ever come? Vash Eric's is the heart here. His silence screams louder than any dialogue. He's a man who once danced through gunfire, now reduced to childlike dependence. His eyes carry centuries of pain. Hoppard, with his deformed body and bitter heart, is no simple villain. His rage stems from real loss, making his actions understandable, even tragic. Jessica brings pure hope, a reminder of why Vash once fought. Their choices feel earned. Vash's refusal to kill, Hoppard's desperate push, Jessica's plea. It's transformative. We see how guilt can freeze a hero, and how others' pain can force movement. Guilt, unforgiveness, sacrifice. These aren't just words. They live in every frame. Vash's vow against killing now feels like a curse. He saves lives by refusing violence, yet that same refusal destroys him. It echoes the human struggle. How do we live with the harm we cause unintentionally? Like historical figures burdened by decisions that saved many but cost them their peace, Vash's story asks, is forgiveness possible when you can't forgive yourself? The desert mirrors inner barrenness, harsh, unforgiving, yet beautiful in its vastness. New layers emerge. The incoming fleet promises rescue, but for mutated humans, is it salvation or erasure? Plant thefts continue, hinting at Knives' shadow. It complicates the universe without overwhelming, making no man's land feel alive and fragile, sparse but piercing. Lines land like gunshots in silence. Hoppard's accusations, Jessica's pleas. No cliches, every word carries history. One moment of quiet dialogue between Hoppard and Vash lingers like the taste of ash after a fire. Studio Orange's CG shines again. Fluid, cinematic, with masterful symbolism. Desolate landscapes in muted browns and grays reflect Vash's inner void. Rare bursts of color, Jessica's hope, feel like lifelines. Shadows stretch long, swallowing figures, while still moments amplify emotion. Art direction emphasizes isolation. Wide shots make characters tiny against the desert, evoking loneliness. Director Masako Sato crafts tension through restraint. Close-ups on Vash's haunted eyes, slow pans across ruined ships, editing that lingers on silence. It mirrors the story's pain. Quiet builds to explosive moments. Tatsuya Kato's music is a character itself, haunting strings that swell like rising guilt, then drop into silence. Motifs from Stampede return, twisted with sorrow. Silence speaks loudest. Vash's muteness makes every sound, wind, footsteps, feel heavy. Yoshitsugu Matsuoka delivers a masterful performance as Vash, wordless but devastating. His breaths, whimpers, and rare cries convey oceans of pain. Other standouts, the raw anger in Hoppard's voice, Jessica's desperate hope. This episode broke me. I felt the weight of Vash's guilt guilt like sand in my lungs, every breath hard. The tragic choice at the end is a collision of destinies, a breaking point where hope and despair crash together. It left me wondering, how much pain can one's soul carry before it shatters? Like watching a friend lose everything, it hurts, yet sparks wonder at human resilience. The scars remain, but so does the faint light of possible redemption. Some may find the slow pace frustrating, less action than Stampede's flashier fights. But this is deliberate, a story about inner war can't rush. The opacity of Vash's silence might confuse newcomers, yet it deepens the tragedy. These flaws serve the theme. Unforgiven pain doesn't move quickly. Unforgiven succeeds brilliantly as art and story, deeply emotional, visually stunning, philosophically rich. Its strength is raw honesty. Its weakness is that it hurts to watch. But that's the point. This episode doesn't just entertain. It forces you to confront your own scars. If you want to know if Vash can ever forgive himself, if hope can bloom in desert sand, you can't stop here. The next episode waits like an open wound. Will you look away or step closer? The choice is yours, but I already know you'll watch. You have to.